You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Hello and welcome to your last Loose Women of the Week, back for some fabulous Friday fun. Alongside me, Christine Lampard, it's Katie Piper, Nadia Sawala and Jane Moore. Coming up on today's show, loose aunties Nadia and Jane will be filling us in on how Stacey's doing after catching up with her and little Rose last night. And with just 71 days until Christmas, I know, I'm sorry, we're going to be talking toy panic as retailers warn of bare shelves in the run-up to the big day. And at 1 o'clock, we're joined by a music megastar. He's 1/5 of one of the most legendary pop groups on the planet. Tito Jackson will be popping by to talk new music, growing up as a Jackson, and why it was his mum, Catherine, who helped hold it all together through the family's toughest times. Like, just the mere mention of the Jacksons, I can feel the vibrations of her just shaking on this desk. Katie is an official super fan, aren't you?
I can't tell you how happy I am.
I think it's one of the cutest moments we've ever had in a meeting of all the years of Loose Women when she realised that a Jackson was going to... She leapt off the seat, didn't she?
Yeah. I have seen every impersonator in the UK. I've hired them to come to my house and sing for me. My bedroom wall was a Jackson wall where there was no wallpaper, and it was like, oh, there they are, look! My first dance at my wedding was Michael Jackson. My duvet and pillowcase was Jackson's. I am slightly overwhelmed and nervous about meeting Tito. Will he like me? I don't know.
And then when she discovered, it was so funny, when she discovered it was also Tito's birthday, she's spending his birthday.
We are honoured, though. We are really honoured. Like, they're an amazing family. Like, they've been such an influential part of my childhood. I remember at school practising my signature as Katie Jackson.
Oh,
I think if Tito's watching this, he's going to be quite scared.
Be very afraid, Tito.
I just want to be a friend of the family. I mean no harm.
It's your mastermind topic, you know, the dates.
It really is.
I had all the hardback albums. Do you remember when you could get albums of stars? I had all of the... Well, I say had, I have them still. So.
But you also remember the dates everything was released. We had no idea.
Yeah,
I love that when you find out new things about our
But
fellow
back
Loose
then,
Women.
there weren't many stars, and he was such a massive star, Michael Jackson, and so were the Jackson 5. And that was it. I was faithful to just them. There were no other posters. No one else had a presence in my life. So, yeah.
Well, this is going to be fun, isn't it? So anyway, happy birthday.
Thank you
Obviously,
very
we all
much.
today as well. But also, I wanted to ask you, because since the last time I saw you, you've been through the mill a bit, haven't you? Tell us about that.
Well, I had an unexpected, unplanned operation. So I have a lot of problems with my esophagus. So, and actually, it's funny, when I put it on social media, so many people live with strictures in their esophagus for lots of different reasons.
So explain what a stricture is for...
So a stricture is a narrowing of the esophagus, and mine is because I've got three points of scar tissue that can narrow down to a pinhole, which means, you know, you can't swallow food, you can't swallow saliva. And I choked, I must add, on my husband's cooking, not on my own. And I choked on Sunday. And normally that does happen to me quite a lot. And eventually the food will either come out through your mouth or it will pass and drop down into your stomach. But for me, it just wasn't passing. And my husband picked me up and held me upside down and was like hitting me and trying to get it out, trying all sorts of things. And in the end, I ended up going through A&E into hospital and had to have an endoscope and a dilatation. So I'm on soft food at the moment. I had my birthday cake, that was fine, that was chocolate. But it is something I have lived with for many years, and I've had stenting and lots of dilatations. But it's funny because it's so great. The operation was a week ago. I'm here back at work, joined by Tito. And you know, it always makes me practice gratitude for actually I'm discharged and back to my normality and independence. And a lot of people, not just burn survivors, but people with esophageal problems, that isn't the case. And it's a lifestyle, managing soft food diets and avoiding certain things. So.
You are amazing, though. We were saying, weren't we, in the meeting, how positive you are.
Oh, I feel grateful. I
All
really
your
do,
language is always peppered with, and I'm so lucky, and I'm so lucky, and I'm so lucky. I really
Yeah.
noticed that about you.
I meet people who don't have the same outcome as me, people that have had similar injuries through my foundation, that, you know, don't get discharged after a week and have to have more and more invasive surgery. So, yeah, I do feel very privileged and fortunate.
I think as well, we talk about these are the problems that you have to live with now forevermore, really, Katie, all off the back of what happened to you.
Yeah.
And it does sort of reflect then back on the sentencings of the people that do these attacks, because you have to live with this now every single day. There's a new issue that you have to try and adapt your life around.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to get reflected in the sentences a lot of the time of the perpetrators in the first place. How do you feel about that? And I know your charity really tried to champion this cause and to make people, firstly, really aware of the horrific consequences of these kind of attacks and how it will affect you on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you know, it's not just something that's just about beauty or the psychological effects. There's the functional, you know, that's what we're talking about with my esophagus. Your life will never be the same again in many different aspects. So I do think the sentencing and the charges brought before the perpetrators need to reflect the severity of what the victim has to live with. I mean, I think for me, it probably needs to be reclassified. It's becoming part of our modern culture. You know, and I say that, it's very depressing to have to say that, but it's a slur that's thrown around on social media as a threat, throwing acid in somebody's face. It's becoming the weapon of choice for a lot of people because it carries a lesser charge. So I do think the law needs to be updated with a reclassification so that the sentencing can be increased.
But it's weird, isn't it? Because your attack was 13 years ago, and you think by now they would have got a little bit more up to speed with the legislation that's needed. So, I mean, I'm sure you read about it as well, but there was the case last week that came to court of a medical student that threw acid into the face of his ex-girlfriend. She's been left blind in one eye, her other eye is damaged. She's already had 5 major operations. You know, it is a life sentence of its own in many ways, and yet he got 15 years, and then when I was reading into it, it's like the last 4 years will be on licence out and about if he behaves himself. Some reports said he will serve 11 years in prison. Other reports said he'll only serve 2/3 of that, which is, what, 8 years. It just seems very messy. You know, you kind of think, why can't we just say, this is the sentence, this is the crime, this is the sentence, and you serve that sentence?
Because as a victim, when you go to court, you want that consistency. You don't want to have to worry about the safety of other people, of yourself. You know, the outcome should be set in stone. There should be a minimum term for this kind of crime. So that's the expectation, and you know that when you... Because some people might choose to not even go to court because it's so off-putting to have to go through that process, to not even get the outcome that, you know, justice should serve.
I mean, if you look at say, murder, for example, so, you know, we've always, when they go, oh, they've got life imprisonment, and we go, oh, life, oh, good, yes. And then it can mean 12 years or 15 years or 20 years for good behaviour. And I was looking it up, I think there's 74 now, so Wayne Couzens was given a life means life sentence. So they've actually said Sarah Everard's murder will never come out of prison. There's another, I think, 72 people, Rose West, Peter Sutcliffe, who's obviously now died. But there's only 72 that actually where life means life. And it's so weird that they can say in court it is a life sentence, but it actually doesn't mean life unless the judge specifies.
It's very difficult for families as well, because if it's a case where the victim is deceased, how does it make the family feel that their member of their family was less valuable than the next person who received a different sentence? It seems just very inconsistent and quite a grey area.
I think greyness is exactly where we're at. I mean, I know there are lots of online petitions calling for acid attacks to be classed as attempted murder, which is seems very obvious to me, but offenders caught in possession of sulfuric acid face a 2-year prison sentence and an unlimited fine if in breach. But that in itself, that's a wishy-washy sentence. That means really very little.
Yeah, and I think now, you know, it's not just my case. I meet people like this all the time because of the nature of the charity. And I have to say, for every single person I've met, that hasn't been the outcome for them. So even though that's printed, that often isn't what happens in a trial.
Yeah.
Something's got to be done.
Something's
We need
absolutely got to
change.
be done. Yeah. And no better person than to make it happen than yourself, Katie, that's for sure. Still to come, do you remember these? Oh my goodness, Cabbage Patch Kids. You remember those, Katie,
I
don't you?
do.
That was mine.
Tippy Dumbo!
Presley Dolls and oh my gosh, yes, Girls World. That was my other favourite one. We're talking about the retro toys that would make or break our Christmases growing up. And after the break, as the Queen was overheard calling foreign leaders irritating for not signing up to a climate summit, we'll be asking if you get bolder as you get older. And find out which loose woman had a serious case of mistaken identity with Billy Piper. That's coming up after this. Sheer excitement. Hello, welcome back. Still to come on today's Rockin' Loose Women, Jackson 5 legend Tito will be sharing how the family marked the 12th anniversary of the passing of late brother Michael and revealing how Peter Andre came to star in his latest music video. About 15 minutes to wait, Katie. 15 minutes. She just can't contain herself. And later we'll be asking, never mind your A-levels, should you put your star sign on your CV? Nadia has very strong views on this one, but she would. She's a Scorpio. Before all of that, though, it's time for this week's competition, and it's a big one worth a whopping £1 million. Here's Lisa Snowden with all the details.
It's our biggest prize of the last 6 years, and it could be coming your way. An incredible £1 million.
Now, if you choose to spend the money on a house, let me show you what's on the market for £1 million. You can get your hands on this beautiful 5-bedroom period property, which comes with a Grade 2 listed stone barn. This beautiful house dates back to the 18th century and comes with just under 1 acre of land.
This house with its stunning surroundings is currently on the market for exactly £1 million.
And if you win, you'll have a huge £1 million decision to make. Do you take all the money in one go, or do you take £10,000 every month for 10 years? Such a big decision to make. We provide, you decide.
For another chance to make the £1 million decision, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD37 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 22nd of October at 4 p.m. Good luck!
Thank you, Lisa. Now, you might have seen this yesterday. The Queen was overheard being fairly frank about world leaders during a private conversation at a public event.
Love her.
Well, she's right, isn't she? She's right. But do you just get a bit bolder as you get older? You just sort of say what you want to say, don't you, Nadia?
I do love that about elderly people. I mean, Mark's nan was famous for it, Nanny Thelma. Mind you, I wish she hadn't been so honest with me. It's always a bit disconcerting because she was so honest.
In what about absolutely everything?
Just everything. Like she'd say, does all your family run to fat?
What?
Does all your family run to fat? Run to fat. Run to fat. She still hasn't heard me. Tell her what I'm saying.
Run to fat.
No.
I.e.,
that was-
do they have a tendency in that direction?
yes. I thought that. I was just trying to prove
That's just an insult,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
and then she'd go, imagine, she goes, you'd be nothing without your curls. Nothing. But in shops, Mark said when he was a kid, it was so embarrassing. They'd be like at the checkout and she'd lean over to the cashier and say, listen, you really do pong of PO.
Oh,
And he said you just want to curl up and die.
But do you think she got like that as she got older, or was the tendency always there?
I think she was always quite a formidable person, but she definitely got worse as she got older, and each year she got worse. Sometimes I used to dread going in because I didn't know what she was going to say.
Because there's something quite liberating about not caring what other people think of you and being yourself and being authentic. But then there's insulting people and being rude, you know? and that's the fine line. And actually, that's actually selfish, isn't it? Telling everyone what you think about them, that's going out to hurt people. And
Yeah, because
it can be-
a lot of people sort of say something judgmental,
Yeah.
and then they go, I'm just being honest. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, actually, you're just being hurtful.
Yeah.
But I think with older people, it's totally. It never annoys me with elderly people because I think you've kind of got that right to get there. Do you know what I mean?
But also,
But-
you lose your filter. I think.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people get to a certain age and they lose their... And they become almost like a toddler hasn't yet learnt their filter.
Yeah.
And then you have your filter all through the middle of your life, and then you lose your filter.
Think, oh, I can't be bothered with that
Yeah.
anymore. You chuck it off. Yeah.
It's the toddler and the adult. It's exactly the same thing. My 3-year-old will say all sorts of things to me like, oh, your hair's awful, or Mummy, that's terrible, or I don't like that. And you're like, oh my goodness. And she's just been absolutely honest. And most of the time, she's right.
We have to teach them to lie, don't we?
We have to.
She just hasn't learned to lie.
But this is it. So at what stage then? What is it that
Yeah.
we sort of
Well,
suddenly...
I have an awkward moment that I could tell you about that happened on this show the last time I was on. And I don't think I was with you ladies, so I haven't told anyone. I was on with Janet. She was sat where you were sat.
Yeah.
And backstage in the meeting, she called me Billy. She called me Bill at first, and I thought, oh, is that her new nickname for me? And then on set, before we're just about to go on air, she called me Billy again, and I realised she thinks I'm Billy Piper. It's like, and at what stage do you correct somebody?
look
it
so
it
alike.
had gone so far, I was like, maybe I should just change it by Depot now. I don't want to stand up to Janet.
But then she would definitely tell you, wouldn't she? So,
With toddlers, you find that when they're really young, you suddenly see that where somebody comes into view and you think, oh no, you know, like they might be wearing a large hat or something that's not very flattering, and you sort of try and distract them before they say something. And I remember being on holiday with one of my daughters, who shall remain nameless, and we were playing I Spy endlessly,
You're
like you
loving
do.
that, Jane.
And I went, I spy my lie, so it beginning with F, meaning flip-flops, which I was wearing. And she sort of went like this, and then she went, fat lady, and pointed at the woman on the next sun lounger.
And within earshot?
Oh, like really loudly.
It's just painful, isn't it? You just can't take that moment back. It's like, I'm really sorry.
Just didn't see that one coming.
No filter, eh? Well, now, look, the temperatures, they're dipping and nights are drawing in. It's safe to say the countdown to Christmas is well and truly on. I love Christmas, so I'm sorry. I'm apologising for it, but I
do
love it.
too, don't worry.
Santa, however, might have a bit of a struggle this year, as lots of shops are warning delays at UK ports could cause serious shortages ahead of the big day. So how far would you go to get that perfect toy? I mean, it's a big deal. We've all been there. We all remember wanting that certain something and, you know...
Well, I remember, and you're similar age to me, you two won't know that. So there was a thing called a Tamagotchi.
Oh, I remember those.
That was like one of the very first ever sort of little electronic creatures, very basic. But my daughter said, I want a Tamagotchi. She told me this on the day that all the stories in the newspapers were every Tamagotchi ever is sold out, you know, one of those. Anyway, I found myself meeting a man at Victoria Coach Station with a brown envelope stuffed with money to get this blessed Tamagotchi for Christmas Day.
We were in disguise.
She unwrapped, she was like, oh my God, it's the best present ever. And you had to keep them alive, you had to keep feeding them and all of that.
So weird.
Dead by Boxing Day. Oh, dead. No water, something.
Stress, but isn't it? This little thing here, this was what we had to... It was for Patricia's birthday in September. and it was all over the TV, and she wanted this thing, right? And I'm trying to figure out how to turn it on here now, and it's not. Anyway, the idea is you charge it up, and then it just shoots up into the air, and you have to keep your hand underneath it, and it flies up. It's like a little sort of a drone thing almost. And there's it is a little bit like you don't want to be in its way or
I feel like
it
you'll be
hits you.
cutting that out
This
your
is
hair
the
or
bottom.
something.
But this, oh my gosh, this thing got mentioned for weeks and weeks and weeks. Can't wait to. I mean, literally, it's been played with twice, I think.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of it. But
This
you
is
know,
what we were like as children. We'd have all these toys we'd obsess about, and it was whatever were being sold on the telly in the adverts. And then we would just play with the packaging. We'd get in the box.
Yeah.
We'd play with, you know, all three of us would be in the box making a house out of all the packaging, and then just discard the toy.
Apparently, there's a company now, very clever. Oh, look at you there. Apparently, there's a company now that is selling boxes as Christmas presents.
Yeah, I could see that.
selling
That was popular.
boxes.
Yeah.
Well, my kids love to get the felt tips out and then decorate the
Yeah.
box and stick bits on it. So in my household, it'll be a lot of boxes this year.
There's always something, isn't there?
Remember
Furbies,
remember Tressie dolls?
Tracy Island. Do you remember Tracy Island?
Yeah, Tressie doll, where you press the belly button and the hair would pull out. Oh, my
Oh,
God, I
yeah.
loved my Tressie doll.
Girls'
so much.
World was mine.
I loved Girls'
Oh, I learned how to French plait on that, and then trying to do I mean, it was
Yeah.
just the most treasured thing.
I used to
ever.
band the hair. Yeah, that's what I did, vandalise mine.
Yeah,
Great.
I was choosing. I never did. I was that child that didn't want to destroy it because I loved the hair and all.
My treasured thing. And I remember it to this day, opening this on Christmas Day. It was my best Christmas present ever. It was Tippy Tumbles, the gymnast doll, because I loved gymnastics when I was at school. There's Tippy Tumbles. I know she does look a bit sinister.
There's a bit of a sinister look here. I'm not gonna lie.
She does look a bit Chucky-esque. But I've still got her. She's in my attic.
Oh,
And she
comes
obviously-
alive at night time.
Things
doesn't
were
she?
not-
A bit like you. Let's have a look at her again.
I mean, I know I've had dental
Look.
implants.
Come
and
on,
my
let's
face
have a
is
look at
swollen
her.
up.
Put her next to her.
Screen.
Look, the hair, the feeling of joy. Come on, hands in the air. Look, double. The absolute double.
The influence.
You know, the elderly, they just come out with stuff. don't they?
There's just no filter, Jim. There's
can
no
you do?
filter. What can you do? Yeah? Right, don't go anywhere after the break. Auntie Nadia and Auntie Jane will be telling us how the littlest loose lady, Baby Rose, is doing after a trip to see Stacey yesterday. And Katie, the moment has nearly arrived. Jackson 5's Tito will be revealing new music, reflecting on life in the group and telling us why they have the royal seal of approval from Her Majesty. There he is, he's waving at you, Katie. See you after this.
On Monday, daytime queen Lorraine Kelly joins us alongside her daughter Rosie, supporting our Menopause Manifesto and sharing how their close bond helped them talk about the topic. Plus, why more mothers should open up to their daughters about their menopause experiences. Lorraine and Rosie, Monday, 12:30 on Loose Women.
Welcome back to your Friday Loose Women. Alongside me, Christine Lampard, it's Nadia Sawala, Jane Moore, and of course, Billy Piper. We've even gone and made you a mug. I'm sorry, Katie.
I'm just upset it doesn't say Katie Jackson.
Yeah, that's next time. Don't you worry about that. And coming up, we'll be finding out exactly what our birth dates say about us as we talk star signs. And Katie will be finding out live on air whether she's actually compatible with her husband, Richie.
Oh, wow.
Also, do you dare to share a towel with your partner? You might change your mind after we reveal what's lurking on your bath sheets at 1:20. I know. Okay, so you had a lovely day yesterday, didn't you? You got to cuddle little baby Rose.
Oh, we did. And it was just, I call it a bubble of magic. There's something about, Jane and I rushed for the first week of Rex as well, because there's something about seeing a baby in the first few weeks. There's a magical bubble, an aura that you just can't really even describe when they're still making all those gorgeous, like, womb movements, I call it all that. And she was just magical, wasn't she?
She was.
Teeny and
So
perfect.
tiny, so tiny.
No.
And Stacey just looked
Zen.
amazing. She's so happy. And Joe was just buzzing around and looking after Rex. And it it was really, really a privilege, really, to be around. I love that. I always think to be around a baby when it's just born is a privilege.
And it goes so quickly. I know
Because it's so
cliche, but
special,
it goes
isn't it?
quickly, that
Yeah.
She's the most perfect little addition to their family, isn't it? It almost feels like they are absolutely complete.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It just feels like little Rose
Look at
is the
Jane.
magical
You
little
took a lovely
piece.
photo, Jane.
And what about the big
It
boys?
was so lovely. The boys were all in and out, weren't they? And it was just divine. We were there for like a couple of hours.
Yeah,
I
we
could have
saw-
stayed there for weeks.
Yeah,
it was
there
so
was-
zen.
Yeah, and just the dogs and the boys, and it's all just lovely. And she's so happy, and so is Jo. So yeah,
Good
lovely.
stuff. Well, we're sending you all of our love, Stacey. We can't wait to see you again. Actually, she'll be back soon, won't she? She'll bring Rose in. Do you remember she brought Rex in for one of the morning meetings? Oh, so cute. OK, now, selling over 100 million records worldwide and becoming one of the biggest household names on the planet, the Jackson 5 have all gone on amazing careers of their own, including Tito, who is back with a brand new single, Love One Another. Tito, thank you so much for joining us. We are loving the new sound of this album. It's got that brilliant, gorgeous blues feel, and it's a passion of yours to put this album together.
Yes, it's one of my favorite things to do is the blues music. And I thought the song Love One Another would be the perfect song to release first from this album because of all the situations that happened in the beginning of the year with the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter and the storming of the U.S. Capitol building as well. So I just felt the world needs to remind each other to love one another. So it was fun putting that song together.
We also feel very privileged, Tito, that you're here with us today because it is your birthday. And so thank you very much for making us part of your special day.
Yes, and thank you for sending this beautiful cake to me, which I will be cutting today and putting a candle or two on it, which is not my age, but it feels good.
Well, happy birthday,
Yes.
Tito. Now, Tito, Katie alongside me here, she's very composed and very professional, but she is screaming on the inside that you are here talking to her. She is the super fan, the ultimate super fan. She's made our day because of her love for you and the Jacksons. And Katie, I'm just going to hand it over to you. There, Tito is there.
Sorry, Tito, if I'm scaring you at this point. But you know, I grew up listening to your music. I'm a massive fan of all of the Jacksons. So it's quite surreal for me to sort of virtually meet you like this. And hearing your new music, you know, I couldn't keep still hearing it. And that heavy blues influence. I know Michael Jackson was a big fan of the blues, and it's just so amazing to see you guys as a family keeping his memory alive through your new music.
Yes. And my album Under Your Spell, I thought that it would be a good time to reach way back in the beginning of my days of music, which my family listened to a lot of blues. My father played blues with his brother every day, so it's in my soul. We even had the blues in our show prior to Motown days, so I'm just reaching back and pulling it back, you know. And blues is a beautiful genre of music, but it's probably one of the less popular. So if I can get some pop fans to listen to some nice blues, that's upbeat blues. All blues isn't sad, so that's where I am with Under Your Spell.
And Tito, do you still feel Michael's presence, not just through your music, but, you know, when you're on stage, when you're performing? Is that something that's still there?
Every day, you know, he's hard to forget. You know, you can't forget Michael Jackson, not just the entertainer, but as a brother. He was brilliant and very sweet and nice, and just somebody that I will miss for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And on stage, we can imagine what he would be doing at this particular time in the music or what have you. So yes, we miss him every show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And Tito, Katie here isn't your only super fan, of course, and one of them being our queen, apparently.
Oh, yes, yes. We played the Jubilee many years ago, and we met the Queen, and she told us that she enjoyed the group, and her favorite song was "Dancing Machine." So my brothers and I used to always talk about, could you imagine the Queen trying to do the robot? That would be something to see.
Tito, I wanted to ask you about your mum, because you've dedicated your new album to her, haven't you?
Yes, my mom is dedicated on this album because she's so special to me. She's my queen, and she loves the blues, and she's very responsible for us being where we are today. So your mother is one of your most precious gifts in life. So I love my mom dearly, and I just wanted to do this album for her to listen to and enjoy as well. So complete album is dedicated to my mother, Catherine.
Deservedly so. And we talk about love one another, Tito, and there are lots of collaborations in the video there. The Kardashians make an appearance, and of course our loose man, Peter Andre.
Yes, we have Peter Andre, and we have Tyson Fury as well, and it was a fun video to put together, and we have Merle Osmond as well. There's Peter, and it was fun because I knew all the celebrities were at home quarantined just as I was, so they couldn't tell me no, and they all sent in the cameos, and some of them were a little late that didn't make the cut because of the timing, but the participations, I wanted those because reaching out to spread the message of love. You know, the Jackson family has been doing that for some time now, but to have other reaches such as Kardashians and Peter Andre and other people as such, you know, it's just a much wider broad of people. So that was the idea basically behind that, and I like the video more than the song itself, and the message is stronger than everything.
Yeah. I know you're good friends with Peter Andre. You actually went to see Peter Andre perform the Jacksons.
I went to see him twice. I've been to see the Thriller Western show 3 times. I actually have one last question, Tito. Could I possibly be in the next video, please?
God, she's taking her moment, isn't she?
That would be great.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tito, you know she's not going to let that go.
Can we get a contract?
Yeah, that's okay. We'll find something. We'll find something great for you to do.
Thank you. I'll hold you to that.
Tito, I also wanted to ask you, because Katie's not going to ask you. She was saying in the ad break, and it's a really weird question. It's probably the weirdest question you've ever been asked on any interview. She wanted to know what was Michael's favourite food to eat.
That's a hard question because Michael would eat anything. He eats very normal tacos, pinto beans, whatever. We grew up on that type of thing, or collard greens, and so he wasn't the steak and the lobster kind of guy. Although he would eat it, but he preferred just a regular meal, corn on the cob or barbecue or whatever. For a while, he became vegetarian, so he ate all the things that the vegans ate and the vegetarians. So he had a pretty decent diet.
Good old thorough answer. You got your answer.
You got your answer. You did. Katie, Tito, thank you so much for joining us. Under Your Spell is out now. Thanks so much. Happy birthday, Tito.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to love one another.
Absolutely. Right, take a deep breath, you.
Corn on
okay.
the cob. Who would have thought? I love a corn on the cob.
When it comes... I'm bringing you back to earth now. When it comes to bath towels, is sharing really caring? And is your compatibility with colleagues written in the stars? You were compatible with all the Jacksons, it's clear. Doesn't matter about the stars. Find out if we're cosmically connected after this. welcome back. We're asking if putting your star sign on your CV is a bit of mystic magic or simply tragic. First, though, competition time, and you could be in the money as we are giving away an incredible £1 million. If you want to know how to get your hands on all of that cash, here's Lisa with the details.
Welcome to my humble abode. I'm only kidding. But this £1 million property could be within your budget if you enter to win our biggest prize of the year.
We've got £1 million to give away, but the decision is, do you take the million in one go or £10,000 a month for the next 10 years? £1 million could see you own some of these properties. Yes, that's right. I've searched the length of the UK to see what you could buy for that money, and the possibilities are endless. If a new home is not what you're after, why not take the 10 grand a month for 10 years and have a decade of decadence? New cars, holidays, or endless shopping sprees. The choice is yours.
Now, before you start planning on how you're going to spend that £1 million, make sure you pick up the phone and enter.
For another chance to make the £1 million decision, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD37 PO Box 7558 Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 22nd of October at 4 p.m. Good luck!
Thank you, Lisa. Now, how important is star sign compatibility at work? For Madonna, it's everything, as the Leo star apparently refused to work with DJ David Guetta when she found out that he was a Scorpio. Dame Judi Dench has been singing the praises of her most recent director, Kenneth Branagh, after discovering they are both Sagittarians, so they work together really well. So should you put your star sign on your CV? I mean, it's something you can't change, is it? That's the only issue here, Jane.
Yeah, I suppose most people put their date of birth so people could work it out anyway, couldn't they? I know people do place a lot of stock by that. I mean, the day-to-day things where they sort of say, you know, a man in red shoes will give you money. I don't really take that terribly seriously. But I do think there is something in when you're born. I do think there is something about the general characteristics of each time that you're born in the year. And
I'm quite surprised.
Do you remember this book?
I'm surprised Jane would say that.
Literally just about to say that. And I didn't think you would absolutely buy into any of it.
To go cobble wash all of it.
Most people guess my star sign after they've spent about 5 minutes with me. But do you remember this book? It's called The Secret Language of... And every single day that you are born is in here in great detail about the kind of person you are. And actually, when you read it, it's uncanny. So we'll start with you, right? February the 2nd.
Yes.
And it gives a title to each day. February the 2nd, the day of class.
Oh,
true.
See?
Yeah.
She's very classy.
See? You're always
true.
saying that.
Very
So
classy.
it says, those born on February the 2nd tend to be polished, sophisticated and classy.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, and it says here, but it says they make it look easy, though they do give the impression that such fluency comes naturally. In fact, a great deal of discipline and hard work stands behind it. Yes. And then Nadia...
God, I dread to think.
November the 18th, the day of temperament.
Oh, God.
So it says... highly spirited individuals.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That means a pain in
Usually
the jackseat, doesn't it?
extremely active in both mind and body.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it says their chief characteristic is emotional lability, which means change, because you're looking at me blankly. But it says on the outside you can appear cool.
Me.
On the outside you can appear cool, calm and collected when you want to.
Yeah.
You are a master of control because sometimes inside there is a boiling cauldron.
I don't think I ever control that, do I? You've seen my boiling
And then
cauldron.
Katie, I thought, no, Katie's isn't right. And then I saw her with Tito Jackson. Now I've changed my mind.
Oh, I like this.
It says the day of the grand gesture. October 12 people are dominant individuals who like to be the centre of attention. See, you want to be in
Sometimes.
you want to be in a Jackson's video, don't you?
Says the woman, sometimes she's just done a deal and cut a contract with
But
the
it
Jacksons.
also says that you're very socially astute, generous, and dependable.
Very true.
For the right
Yeah.
person, for the right.
Really, really
Yeah.
good.
And my one just says it's the day of the bottom line, and it says people born on May the 17th are very straightforward.
No,
stoplight.
that's the only one they've got wrong,
There's
isn't it?
there's a whole 2 pages. I'm not going to read it all out, but that's the bottom line.
I
of the
love
day
that,
of the bottom
though.
line.
I mean, whether you believe or you don't believe, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
I know,
actually, yeah.
I think
Not so much with Katie, the day of the, what was it, exhibitionist or whatever.
Well,
what
I
did it
can
say?
be at home. I mean, I think I
Grand
was one of
gesture.
3, and I was the one like that in the siblings. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it, I'm afraid. I didn't even know Richie's star sign. I would not think to look at someone's birth date on a CV and look up their
So
star
hang on,
sign.
what? Your husband Richie, you didn't know his birth? What?
No, he probably doesn't know mine either.
What? You still don't know it? You've
no,
never known it?
I know when he's born, the date, I think. yeah.
I can tell
to
you,
know.
because I'm armed with these facts. Katie, you're Libra and Richie's Pisces, or Aries, Aries, sorry.
okay.
Libras love being in love, and Aries are passionate pursuers who love to show affection. It's a steamy match. However, their personalities are quite different, as these signs are at opposite ends of the zodiac, but this is what makes them a good match. Aries are 100% committed, and Libras blossom in love.
Oh, that is quite accurate, actually. That,
Oh,
I
there
think
you
that
go.
does describe us. Are you sure he's Aries? Is that definite?
That's what the card says, so it means it's definite.
So what, even
yeah.
on your wedding day, nobody said, oh, what star sign are you both?
No,
Nothing.
I would find that really odd if someone asked me that, especially on my wedding day.
I mean, it's too late then, isn't it?
yeah.
Generally, I think we're all quite compatible on the panel, ladies. Just so you all know, I'm Aquarius, Libra, Scorpio, and Taurus, and we kind of all blend relatively well. So there you go. That summarises that
Just as well, really.
just as well. Yeah. Now, one mum has gone viral online after venting her frustration that her partner keeps using her towel and asking whether she is being unreasonable for wanting her own separate towels. It's a big dilemma. Do we share each other's towels at home? Do we? Is it an important issue to you, Katie? Do you like your own towel?
I need to give you an actual demo because, strangely, we have hundreds of towels in our airing cupboard, but me and Richie share a bathroom, share a towel. Until last week, when I was at home recovering from my operation, I witnessed Richie drying himself, right? And it goes a little something like this. Imagine full-blown naked. It goes like this.
Oh.
Yeah. Then he finishes up in between the toes.
Oh,
every
no.
single toe, under here, around here. And then that's the same towel that after I finish cleaning my teeth, I go like that with across my mouth.
So how long have you been married not knowing?
We've been together 10 years, married for 6, and I've just found out that he's dental flossing his groin with my towel.
Well, Katie, it's funny you say that because here come the facts, Nadia. You hate this bit. 90% of towels are contaminated with fecal bacteria. 56% of romantic partners spread fecal bacteria when they share bath and shower towels. One concern is the contamination of bacteria such as E. coli that comes basically from poo. Towels are covered in poo, ladies. That is what
my God.
summarising.
We'll have to go back to that air drying idea you and Judy were talking about.
Separate towels, it's the way forward.
Separate. We talked about separate luge yesterday, didn't we, Nadia? It's all about the separate towels, just to keep it safe.
Expected dead skin, but not poo.
Yeah. So just think about that next time.
Really? Even the way he does it?
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your company. It's all we've got time for today. Lorraine Kelly and her daughter Rosie will be with us on Monday alongside Julian Clary. And before we go, good luck to our Judy and Graziano and Clara Strictly. Vote Judy. We want to bring that glitter ball trophy back to our green room. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Thanks for your company.
Happy days.